Today on the KeithAndrewNetWork, what a big show we have. We have Willie Marx. That's right, we have Willie Marx on the show. Also, Andrea Hume on the show. And we have Mick Manhattan. All three great people in the entertainment world. It was a great honor and privilege to have them on the show. Make sure to subscribe to the KeithAndrewNetWork. And as I always say, I will catch you later. Is welcome to the KeithAndrewNetWork. It's probably going to be a great show, but starting off is my announcement. My announcement is, what is the KeithAndrewNetWork? Whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities to never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them that labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be. So prove to them you can still amount to something. So hashtag break the labels. That being said, it's going to be 26 minutes every time. It's PG-13. And it's freedom of I do say freedom of speech, but to a point. Remember, PG to up the highest 14. If you want to use an F-bomb, that's fine, but nothing too crazy. We like to be professional on the KeithAndrewNetWork. So the first question I'm going to ask is, Mick, you mentioned that you are a curator. How many years have you been a curator, and who inspired you to be a curator?
Well, for the SceneSnobs.com, which is the network that I created of shows, it's just under 2 years. October will be 2 years that I've been together, but it's something I've been running for a long time. The Scene Snobs has been a banner since 2013. Started as movie reviews, it went into reviews, went into, I did podcasts before this that I helped create, and just working as a general creator of content for different sites. So I was also a filmmaker. So, I'd say roughly 20 years I've been in a creating aspect of some sort in the entertainment industry. But with what I'm currently working on in my business now, it is about just under 2 years.
No, that sounds absolutely amazing. And before I give my feedback, I'm going to go to Will. Same exact question, but you're actually an actor. Who inspired you to become a professional actor, and how many years have you been acting?
Well, I guess I've got inspired very, very quickly. I was actually a young man driving ambulance in Oakland, California at the age of 19, and my boss came to me and he said, hey, Will, you want to be on TV? And I said, well, yeah, why not? So actually exposed to television very, very early on, and kind of caught the bug and have been in and out of it for the last probably 30 years. In the last 6 years, I say that I've come back in and actually had more traction in the last 6 years than I did when I was in my 20s. So I'm not very pleased.
So what you're saying is, it's because you look older, you can get better parts when you're younger. That's your secret. I think that's probably the formula at this point. A little more mileage on the tires and a little more experience. So yeah, when you're going into character development, if you have that vulnerability in your heart, I think that makes that particular character that much more interesting, and it makes the audience want to like that character more or dislike that character more. No, it's true. The biggest thing about watching TV shows, if you don't really give a damn about the characters, it's kind of like, what's the point? I give you an example, Blue Bloods. You watch it for Tom Selleck. Suits, you watched it for Harvey Specter and Mike and Rachel, who's now the Queen of England, going the Princess of England. Maybe one day she will be Queen. Well, right now she's the Princess. Last time I checked, I have to check my notes. So there's Chicago Med, there's Chicago Fire, Chicago Blue. there's so many great shows. It's the biggest thing. Even, I'm a big professional wrestling fan. If you don't care about the wrestlers or characters, it's kind of like, what are you doing? Why you waste your time watching something that you don't really care about? And it kind of busters it. As a creator, I actually, if throw me under the bus, I think I'm pretty boring, but a lot of people find me interesting. I started a Keith Andrew Network back in 2004. Long story about that. Pretty much I was in high school. My brother had a radio show. I wanted to copy what he did, so I made my own show in '04. I graduated in '06. Lost interest. Well, not really lost interest. It says I graduated, and I didn't really have. It's 2007. We didn't have this type of technology, so it's kind of like put it on hold. But Mick, you would agree, as a creator, you have to have the heart and passion to do what you want to do. And I created the Keith Andrew Network in 2004. I lost interest. 2012, I created a YouTube channel, and started off by making fan-made pictures. So I like Mickey James and Trish Stratus. So I would take their pictures, put music to it. So at least I made a foundation that would say, what is the Keith Andrew Network? And I'm thinking, okay, we can do it better. Then we move to doing my talk show video. So you see a process from, 2013 all the way up to this point. I don't really acknowledge 2004 because those are like my demo years. But it's a practice of saying, if you have the heart for it, just do what you love. Do you agree?
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. You have to love what you're doing, or you're never going to put the passion into it to, help drive you to get the goals achieved. So yeah, no, you absolutely have to love what you do. I mean, it's at times a love-hate relationship, but there's always much more love than hate, for sure.
No, absolutely. Now we're also joined by our beautiful guest. Thank you for joining us, Andrea. Now, I mentioned to our guest beforehand that you are a CEO. So the question I want to ask is, who inspired you to become a CEO, and how many years have you been CEO, and if that's actually a word?
My ex-husband inspired me. I had to become self-sufficient. So I did, and I wanted to work for myself. I didn't want to work for anybody else. I've been a CEO for about 10 years now. I think 8 exactly. And I agree, it is a hate-love relationship, sometimes more love than hate. A lot of passion, definitely have to have a lot of passion.
No, I agree. It's funny, my grandfather actually had his own store, and I closer in where it is. I think one was in Brooklyn, and I can't remember where the other one was. But unfortunately, he had to sell, and then he worked for another company, and he was taking orders from a snot-nosed punk. It's like, I'm older than you, and I ran my own store, and now I'm taking, this with Juliet's, orders. It didn't really work out for him. But the four of us would actually agree. We like to be in charge. A lot of people would say I'm like a little Napoleon who likes to pretend I'm in charge. But hey, it's not that you have a big ego. It's just the feeling of you're in control. It's kind of soothing, if that makes any sense. Because everyone wants to be in control of a situation. No one wants to be, why am I here? What am I doing now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
So the next one I want to ask you is, what can you tell us about your company?
Well, I cast extras for a living.
Let's say when you have free extras right here.
What? I'm sorry.
Oh, I was making a joke. Me and my 2 other guests. So we have like free extras, so you can cast us.
Perfect.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, but that's okay. Yeah, so that's what I do for a living. My company is based in Atlanta, Of course, Atlanta rocks in the film industry. We film all kinds of awesome things. However, we do go where the work is. We've worked all over the US, including Puerto Rico. And every now and then we'll do a little, principal casting. That's not our specialty. For people that don't know what principal is, that's speaking. And background, of course, is your non-speaking parts. But usually for principal, it's things like commercials, just kind of, small things, not really feature films or series or, anything like that. And we've done music videos, we've provided animals, sometimes we've provided cars. It really can be a lot of fun. It really can. Some people, I've seen some women especially actually tear up, when, because of course they had to submit, and especially when it's a featured part. Featured part means that they actually get camera time and you're not going to just see their elbow, right? And so especially that's probably what I love about it the most is the joy that it brings a lot of people. And, and a lot of people have really been very fortunate and good at their craft and able to, become very famous actors that, began as extras. So for a lot of those, those type of people too, extra work is just kind of a stepping stone for them, a way to kind of dip their feet in the water and become familiar with a set and how that things work and, all that good stuff.
No, absolutely. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk about social media. Can it make you or break you? And talk about disabilities when we come back. I want to promote it's HB Gibson, home of the X Zone. If you're into entertainment and video games, definitely check out HB Gibson. Also, if you're interested in Wife of a Fighter, meaning working out, eating and drinking and being in shape, definitely check out Wife of a Fighter tonight live on the USA Network. It's WWE NXT. That's 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific. Definitely check that out. But the question I want to ask both of you right now, and it's going to be an open forum, is what were the biggest accomplishments that you accomplished? Of the show, disabilities. What were some of your biggest accomplishments, and what were some of your brightest moments? And I started as ladies first.
Age before beauty, gentlemen.
Right, so what were some of your favorite accomplishments?
Mine?
Yes.
Well, I think probably, I bid on jobs. And so similar to like a contractor would, bid on building a house. And a lot of times, especially if it's a project, I really, really want, especially a passion project. I've done quite a few passion projects that I feel very blessed to have been involved with. But you're kind of on pins and needles, waiting to hear that if you got it or not. So I would say that my biggest accomplishments is probably the passion projects that I've done and that I was able to get. And there's always sometimes you have very large numbers, and it's really challenging. Sometimes we're put in very challenging positions with large numbers, time crunches, and sometimes it can feel very, very challenging. And once you accomplish it and you rock it and you're high-fiving with your team, that's always a great sense of accomplishment as well.
No, I agree. Now, let me change up the question, because all you have great careers and accomplish a lot. Say, for an example, out of everything that you accomplish, because I'm going to break it down because each, Mick, you're a creator, and Will is an actor, and you're a CEO. So, same question, but I'm only changing one part of that, and that's creator and actor. But it's the same question, just throwing that in there. So the question I want to ask you, because you're a CEO, is you cast people for films. What were some of your favorite people you ever cast that went out and became bigger stars? And Mick, I'm going to ask you the same question, but change CEO to being a creator. But we're going to start off with you first.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, and can I tell you instead the best person that I've ever met that made the biggest impact on me?
Who's that?
Well, I was holding an open call. This is how we find our extras, of course, and hundreds of people show up. And this was in Cleveland, Ohio, and it was at a mall. And all of a sudden, this beautiful African-American lady came walking in with her seeing eye dog. And I never will forget her. I never, ever will just forget her bravery and her tenacity. And she really was quite the inspiration. And being able to cast her was something really special. So I think that that's probably what sticks out the most in my whole, career to me. And she was able, definitely to advance and to get some work. And I just don't think that there's many people, in her position that would have been brave enough or confident enough to do that. So that was very moving to me.
No, absolutely. It's especially when you have disabilities, you have a bigger hurdle to jump over than anyone else. Now, I'm not saying people with disabilities are better than anyone else, because everyone has hardships. Life knocks you down. You have to get right back up, and you have to keep working to get where you want to go. Mm-hmm. So, Will, I'm going to ask you for the next question is, all right, there you go, you froze. So I'm going to ask you, what were some of your greatest accomplishments of being a professional actor?
Well, I have my hand over my ear because I'm using it as a wind sock at this point. So hopefully it dampens the wind here. Well, first of all, let me address why the heck acting? Well, for me, because it's hard. It's kind of like playing the piano. You get one piece down and then you realize, oh my gosh, there's an infinite amount of other work that you're not good at. So it gives you this infinite amount, this deep pond to play in, and you can go deeper and deeper and deeper into it. But being an actor, I would say I'm relatively successful at my caliber, with my caliber, so to speak. But being an actor is difficult. One of the things that I really enjoyed was the process, which is you're submitting, and then finally you get an audition, then you audition, then you get a callback, and then you get another callback, and then you do like a screen test, and then if you're really lucky, if the stars align, bam, you get something. One of the projects that I really enjoyed was actually a short dark comedy film that is still out there in the film festival circuit. And I went through that whole thing. And then when the director actually wrote something about me to read what somebody says about you, I literally started to tear up. But it better have been great because I had to spend 3 nights in a muddy grave because of 3 night shoots for this thing. And yes, you can relate. So it was not only was it difficult and arduous to get there, you had the confidence, had to have the confidence to just perform every time. And even at 3 o'clock in the morning, you muster up as much energy as you can, and you're trying to remember what's the crux of this one scene, and you're trying to quote unquote sell it the best you can. And when the director says, yeah, print, those are those little successes. And then when the film comes together and you actually go, as for instance, last year, just before COVID hit, I was up in Portland at the Portland Comedy Film Festival. And I'm not very egotistical at all, but I tell you, when you see a big 25-foot plaster of your face on a silver screen and you hear people gasping, hopefully in a good way, and laughing, hopefully in a good way, and reacting appropriately, I should say, to your work, boy, that's success. And it doesn't matter about the money, and it doesn't matter about who loves you or anything like that. It is so fulfilling to do that. And then you start over again.
No, absolutely.
You start submitting, you start, and it's over and over and over again, and you build on that, and you'll fail more times than you'll succeed. And what you do is they call it peak to peak. You're just kind of going to the next peak the best you can, and you always just do the very, very best you can. And even when you fail, you roll back on your successes and in your mind and say, okay, I did this one. Okay, we're going to move forward and we're going to do our very, very best.
No, that's all you can do. Now we have 5 minutes left. And now I'm going to ask Mick, because we're in the same area, but I'm going to ask you a different question. Social media, because we're in the same area, how do you connect with your audience? And do you have any tips?
Yeah, well, I mean, social media is dire in this in what we do. So I utilize it as much as possible. I'm on everything. I even TikTok. And if you asked me 5 years ago if I would TikTok and explained what it is to me, I would laugh at you. But it is so important. I have a network of 34 shows that air nightly. So I need to make sure that I'm putting the word out there for everybody and putting exposure out for all my hosts. I work upwards of 60 people. So, I have to be out there all the time. So Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, everything is so important. So I'm always out there, and you need to be different. You need to stand out. It's the most important thing. But I do that by adding my personality to each and every post. When people read it, I want them to know who I am. And then when they are interacting with me, I interact right back. I don't leave anyone out. I want everybody to know who I am. I want everybody to talk. So when they come in, they feel like, okay, I'm already a part of this. I'm watching these shows. I am connecting with them. I am all the way down the line. So because it's very easy to just ask for likes. It's very easy to ask for people to come and watch your stuff. But if you're not connecting with them, they're not going to stick around.
No, I agree. Sorry, I just had a niche. No, that's the biggest thing. I've been doing this for almost 8 years. And while on the subject, we're going to wrap up the show in a couple of minutes. But this June 10th, I'm working on my 8-year anniversary special episode. I'd love to have you guys here if you want to add that to your calendar. June 10th, about 5 o'clock. And it's over 813 or 14 episodes. And it's just over the 800 mark. But the biggest thing is how can you get people interested? I have, a couple of my favorite wrestlers, the best of Raven, the best of Chris Harris. I have, the Dumbo Challenge. I have the Human Pyramid Challenge. I have a couple of brand ambassador challenges. I have so many things on there. It's like, okay, well, if you don't like me talking on my talk show, maybe you would like, these other things on the network. But connecting with the audience is the biggest thing. But wrapping up the show, I was the last 2 minutes. I want each of you to give a quick synopsis When I first approached you to be a guest on our talk show, what was your honest opinion, and how can your listeners follow you on social media? And I'm going to start off with Mick.
Well, my first, I mean, it was pretty open. I mean, I do this for a living, so I'm always, interacting with other hosts and things like that. So when you came to me, I was excited. I wanted to learn of a new show, talk to somebody new, and just kind of, like you said, meet different people along the way. So like I appreciated it, and I'm glad to be here. I do run thescenesnobs.com. You can find me on there. All my social media links are on there. It's at the Scene Snob everywhere, though. So if you want to follow me, we always have something going on.
Absolutely. And well, we on the next.
Well, when you first approached me, I had no idea. So I had to do some research, and I was pleasantly surprised. So thank you. I'm very grateful. As far as social media, you can find me on Facebook, William Marx, over on Twitter, Mr. Will Marx. I'm on Instagram too. I originally had Instagram so I could put stuff on from movie sets, but you know what? They don't let you have cameras there. So not much of an Instagram kind of guy.
Exactly.
And what about you? The last and final, please.
Well, I was pleasantly surprised when you reached out to me, just like William. I did some research, really like your show, really appreciate the opportunity. I absolutely love your cause. I think it's wonderful. It's a cause I'm passionate about as well. So I feel very blessed to, have the opportunity to even be participating. As far as finding me on social media, so my company was opened as Andrea Hume Casting, and I am in the process of rebranding the company. So the new name is Set Life Casting. Same company, just a DBA, Set Life Casting. So you can find Set Life Casting on Facebook, which was formerly Andrea Hume Casting. And then our Instagram, we haven't made the switch over yet because we're in the process of rebranding. Facebook is best right now. And every now and then I post on my personal page as well. And that is just Andrea Hume.
Wrapping up our talk show, don't forget June 10th at 5 o'clock is going to be my 8-year anniversary episode. Make sure to follow.
Congratulations on that, by the way. That's a good accomplishment. Almost a decade.
Well, I'm looking forward to that. That's got to be a very special episode.
Yeah.
But I'm reaching that 40-minute mark before Zoom kicks me off. But wrapping up our interview, it's a real honor and privilege sitting down with you guys, and I'm looking forward to part 2 down the road. I just want to say thank you very much. I'll catch you later.
Thank you, Keith.
Sure.